Alright. Sitting down again. We're back. This time we're with Parrish Isaacs. Say what's up, dude.
Hey, what's up?
Dude, so how did you first get into snowboarding?
I think just when we moved from, I was born in Tennessee, and when we moved from Tennessee to here, when I just turned 8, it was just like obvious that I wanted to learn how to snowboard.
Did you skate beforehand, or?
No, I never really skated. I started scootering first. I like scooter instead of skate. I mean, some people think it's whack, but whatever. I started, I think I started scootering first when I first got to Vermont. I think there was one kid who skated who I knew when I was really little when I lived in Tennessee, but I don't think I had much of a concept of skating or snowboarding or anything. And then when I was little, I started scootering, and I would go back and forth between scootering and skating every year until I was 13 or 14. I would just skate for a while, then scooter or whatever. And I always watched I watched Fuel TV a lot and saw a lot of old videos on there. There's a lot of old snowboard videos they would play, standard videos. They had the standard snowboard show or something.
Yeah.
So when I was super young, that definitely got me stoked on it, and I would just ride at Stratton. And back then, Stratton was where more people around here rode park stuff, because now obviously it's all at Mount Snow. Everyone rides at Mount Snow. No one really rides at Stratton.
Yeah.
Oh shit! Someone's sorry. Ooh. All right. Sorry.
I feel I don't know. I feel the parks at Stratton probably kind of fell off a little bit. You know?
Yeah. It's just unfortunate series of events.
Yeah.
They just kind of never really, just different stuff with people managing the parks and with the upper management and stuff. It just kind of fell off. I don't know. They just want to cater to really wealthy people, which is whatever. I mean, it's a resort, so I don't care. I still like riding at Stratton, even though everyone says it's whack. But yeah, I think, I don't know what got me the most stoked on snowboarding. I remember we were really stoked on grenade videos and shit, and random. There would just be other random videos we would get. I'm not sure if anyone in specific. There would definitely be random people who I'd latch onto, but I don't think I really, really got a full appreciation of snowboarding and videos till I was in high school, and started seeing Videograss videos and stuff.
Which Videograss video? Do you remember?
I honestly don't remember what the first one was. I would watch all of them. I don't remember what the very first one I saw was, because I definitely kind of got into that stuff all at one point, so I would watch all of those videos.
Mm-hmm. That's pretty crazy, because you and I kind of share something similar in that respect. The first video that I remember seeing was Shoot the Moon.
Yeah, that was definitely a big one.
I'd seen other videos before, but the first Videograss was Shoot the Moon, and I thought that was an amazing video.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
And I feel I became more of a snowboarder actually after I watched that. I feel a whole new world kind of opened up after watching that video.
Yeah, totally.
It was pretty sick.
Presents it in a different way.
Yeah. And they do a lot. So you were growing up riding Stratton. When did you start to take snowboarding super seriously and get good and do a lot?
Yeah, probably I think I was more I would always want to be at the skate park more than the mountain when I was in middle school and stuff. And I think I got really into it in high school when I was 15 or something, 14 or 15, and Sam and I would start going to spots and messing around. I had a handy cam. We would film on that, and we did it a couple times, I think one winter, and then the next year. I think it must have been my last year of high school, and Sam was at college, and he was only home for a few weeks that winter, and Jake and I started filming at spots together. And that was the first time we made a video, and it was pretty long. It was 25 minutes long or something like that. It was really bad, but there's some sick clips in it, but it's overall pretty sketchily put together and shit. But that was the first time we made a video.
Damn.
Yeah, ever since then I've just really liked going snowboarding, going to spots and stuff.
I feel hitting urban spots, there's a way cooler vibe about it, you know what I mean? You're just away with your friends, kind of hitting shit out in the wilderness.
Yeah, totally. It's super fun to just hang out, even if you're not getting any clips or anything.
Yeah.
You can just hang out and you're outside and it's a good excuse to hang out in the snow outside, and like no one's really out, you know, like people aren't out and about. You don't see people out walking around as much and stuff, so it's cool to just be out in the winter appreciating that.
Yeah,
it's really cool.
Lurking at spots and shit.
Yeah, totally. It's so cool.
So did you pick up a camera before that? Like, had you been filming stuff at the skate park in middle school, or was that your like first introduction?
Yeah, definitely. I had cameras for a long time, and I was definitely more. No one else really scootered, so I was the only one scootering, and I would, like, my friends would film me scooter, and I would film everyone skate, and I would film, like, Sam and Jake skate, like, all through high school. And I probably started filming, like, skating was, like, the first thing I really started filming, and, yeah, then I definitely, I would say when I really started getting into it was probably after I was out of high school, was when I started getting like really good, because I had the DVX for a while. Like, I think I got my first one I was like 14 or something, and then it like got fucked up, and I think I had the Handycam after that. And then when I finally got a DVX again, and I was like older, and then I started kind of messing with the colors and stuff. And then yeah, ever since then I kind of just got more and more into it, like progressively over time. And like I make a lot of scooter videos also, so that's a big part of it. So I guess those two things, like, I just always have liked filming, but I don't think when I started filming it was ever like, oh, like I really want to be like the filmer. Like, it was just like no one else has a camera, so I have to get one. And over time, once I never like really had the goal in the beginning to like make my own videos a lot, but I would see like really good videos and I'd be like, oh, like that's really cool. Like, I really want to do that. And each time I try to do it, I guess you get a little closer, you know, to like making something that's actually good. But it takes you a long time. Like, you make a lot of shitty videos before you make any that are like even half decent. So
I feel that. Yeah, like, did you feel that over time, like your style had to progress and stuff with filming, or do you think it just like kind of happened naturally because you were filming so much? It just
it definitely progressed because of like different influences, and like and snowboarding is weird because it's like compartmentalized into just the winter. And so it's like I would come back each winter with like a totally new, like, kind of weird little things that I was really into doing, and different filmers that would influence me and stuff.
What weird things? Was there like any really weird shit?
Oh, like the first year we filmed the video, I was really into like tilting the camera too far sideways, and that there's some clips that I like hate that in, and some of them I'm like, oh, that's cool, but like I'll definitely do that. That was like something I was obsessed with, and I thought you like kind of had to do it almost, like, and I was just like really obsessed with doing that. And then after that I was like, oh, like that's like, you don't do that. And I definitely don't even do it ever anymore, really. But there was a point where I just thought that was the move for some reason. I thought that was a good idea. But no, just certain like filming techniques and way of filming things. And I think for a while you get really into doing everything the same way, you know, like you like are like, oh, like every big like rail spot I'll film like this certain way or whatever, you know, and you'll get into these like trends of like how you'll do it, and then as you switch through all of them and then you've kind of like figured out there's so many different ways to film stuff, then I think you can kind of finally like start putting it together in a way where you like use the different filming styles almost in different ways, you know, like there's different ways you could say, like with long lens filming, you're filming it almost like strobe style, you know, like on the face, and you're like following them the whole way through the trick.
Yeah.
And the energy is more like on their body and like the trick that they're doing, versus like you can be doing stuff like that's really composed, like the composition of everything in the frame, and you know, you start super far out and slowly like zoom in for like a trick, usually a bigger spot. But and you know, there's a bunch of stuff in between all those, and you know, using the rule of thirds and stuff. But I think there's this weird thing about doing stuff like you have an idea of how to look in your head, you know?
Yeah.
But it's really rare that it's going to come out like that. Or you have to like recognize the shortcomings of your ability. You can't just be like, oh, I want to film this like this and film it like that. You have to know all the things that you're going to do to like make it not good, because you've tried to film it like that before and it probably hasn't come out right. You know what I mean? Like, and I film it and I'm like, oh, like why doesn't it look like how I imagine it? And I'm like, oh, well, it's because I'm like not actually doing the thing I think I'm trying to do, because I'm like, you know, moving too fast or shaking it or whatever, you know.
Yeah.
There's so many little subtleties to it. So I think it's cool to like, you know, you build up each little technique you're good at, and you can like add it to clips in the way you film stuff.
I totally know, and that's I think something that sets apart your average filmer, some kid who just like picks up a camera randomly versus someone who like is a filmer and like makes lots of movies and stuff.
Yeah.
I feel like is in the editing skill and like understanding the different shots that you can take and kind of going through your phases of different creativity stuff. You obviously know a ton of this stuff. How did you like learn it? Did you just watch videos and stuff, or did you just
Yeah, I think some of it there would be people who would like, who I knew who were good at filming, who I would ask them stuff, but more or less I definitely just kind of figured it out on my own and watched videos and copied stuff, and I was just like, oh, like, they are really good, and sometimes there's clips that you watch and you're like, damn, like really crazy film fisheye clips where you're like, that was so perfect, it came so close to the lens and it's still all framed up, or like certain stuff where it's just filmed so good and you're like, how do they like get it to look like that? And there's so many different things with camera settings and like the way you use stuff, and I'm still like, I don't know all of it. There's still a bunch of it that I like don't know how to do, and like, so I'm still like always learning when I watch videos. Like I'm really impressed with how good other people are at filming, and but yeah.
Who do you think are like some of your influences with your filming? You mentioned Strobeck and like doing that. Who other people?
I wouldn't say Strobeck is like a huge. I mean, definitely he's a huge influence on everyone's filming. You know what I mean? Like he's like one of the most influential filmers ever. So he definitely has an influence in like certain ways. Like I think he like captures energy really well. But as far as his filming style, like obviously everyone like films someone like rolling up just their face really close, like at least one clip in a video. You know what I mean? You're always gonna see that. So I think he's definitely a clear influence to a lot of people in the way he does like editing stuff. But other than that, just like all of the really good snowboard filmers, there's a lot from like, I don't know, the generation like before mine. I feel like who are like a little older. Like I'm 21, so all the people who are like, a bit older and have been making videos for a long time. But definitely, I think mainly snowboard videos are more of an influence to me. For some reason, they seem to be like more, like there's a little more composition to them than skate videos sometimes. And of course, there's like really incredible skate videos that are really well put together. Mm-hmm. But definitely, as far as filming, like the snowboard videos I've watched have influenced me more.
I feel that. I feel like skating sometimes is so oversaturated. You have so many like different styles and different people.
Yeah.
And there's just so much shit. But
totally.
You have to take your time and like compose it, make a vibe and everything, and it's a little bit deeper.
Yeah.
You obviously did civil disruption, right? And
disturbance.
Disturbance. Yeah. Civil disturbance. Fuck. With civil disturbance, and then what? It took you 3 years to film that all.
Yeah.
How did that change? Did you watch your kind of evolution of filming on camera and everything?
Yeah, yeah, totally. Like I said, there's like, I tilt the camera a lot in the clips from the first year we were filming. And the settings, too, got different. And sometimes I would have really fucked up cameras, too. That was another thing. Was in the second year filming, like, for a huge portion of it, I had one of the DVXs, the handle was completely smashed off the top. There's no handle on the top and no microphone. And that was the one we'd use for fisheye. And then the one we'd use for long lens, the front end was snapped off of it, so you couldn't put the fisheye on that. So you had one that worked for fisheye and one that worked for long lens, but you had to have, like, some kind of an external microphone going because it didn't. So usually I didn't even have the external microphone, so I would just use the audio from the tripod. I just set up the tripod in, like, a spot kind of near where I was filming so it would sound right. But yeah, there's clips where you can see, like, if you see a long lens clip of me holding the camera and it looks weird, it doesn't really look like a DVX, it's because there's not a handle on the top because it broke off. There's, like, this rail. Jake was trying to do gap front lip on, and it just the rail snapped. Luckily, it didn't fuck me up somehow, but I guess I probably just, like, blocked myself with the camera.
That's sick.
Yeah.
Well, did you have a couple of clips in the video as well?
Yeah.
That's pretty sick. So obviously you're like a filmer that kind of gets clips and stuff like that. What snowboarders have kind of like influenced you in your style of ever doing stuff?
I think early on I really like Joe Sexton was definitely like someone when I was like, and he's still really good, but one of the first people who I thought was really sick. Mm-hmm. And definitely like Forrest Bailey because he's from right here.
Yeah.
So yeah, I would like see him at skate parks and stuff when I was younger.
That's tight. Yeah.
when I was really little. So yeah, he's always been
Mhm.
someone who I really liked, and definitely like Cole Navin and like Danimals and everyone
Those
like
guys are sick.
yeah.
Were you a big fan of the landline video? That
Yeah,
came
that's
out?
definitely a big one for me. I think
Yeah.
that had a big influence on like, especially like you can tell the production value of that video, and how many angles they have on most of those clips, but they only use like one or two a lot of the times.
Mhm.
But you can like tell there's probably like maybe three or like four angles of that clip or something. I guess I don't know, but it seems like a lot of them probably have quite a few angles that didn't get used.
Yeah.
And watching that, I think, like when I watched that, I was like, "Fuck!" Like I can't. And you have to like, they say you have to kill your baby, kind of. You know what I mean? You can't really keep like every good angle just because you filmed a good second angle of it. You don't like have to use it. You know what I mean? Or this
Yeah.
tripod shot might look sick, but you don't have to use every one. You have to think like, oh, like if you don't need that, then don't put it in. And that video is like, it was definitely like, oh man, I'm definitely putting in way too many of these second angles, because a lot of the clips there are like we did film 2 or 3 angles of them. So.
Damn, yeah. I know you. I was surprised when we were out at the skate spot today, and you just immediately whipped out the two cameras. Like, do you just roll with cameras, or kids just doing tricks around you all the time and shit?
I wouldn't say like always, like, but yeah, I try to have cameras around, like usually when I'm out and I'm like doing stuff, I try to have them, but you can always spontaneously like do stuff. Like Sam's kind of just is like that sometimes. He'll just do something really gnarly like out of nowhere. So yeah, I just whipped him out because I was like, oh, is he really about to do this right now? Like, so yeah, I just got it out.
That was That was definitely pretty sick.
Yeah, that's fucking pretty crazy.
Yeah. It was crazy too how we just like pulled up and he just did it.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
mean? And like we like just drinking, hanging out, and
Yeah.
he just was like, all right, fuck it.
Yeah,
Just do it, dude.
Sam is definitely like, I think, does better if he doesn't like tell himself he's gonna. And I think like a lot of people are like that. If you like tell yourself like, oh, I'm gonna do this really hard trick on the spot, you get like more mentally like vibed out by it, versus if you like go somewhere something gnarly that you didn't like plan on going to, you can like do it quick and get it over with. But if you've been thinking about it for so long, like, I don't know. And I definitely see Sam do that crazy shit like that sometimes, where I'm like not thinking he's gonna do anything. Like you're just like hanging out and he'll end up doing something really gnarly. I think that's really cool, because I get like really psyched out for on shit. I'm always like, like I'm scared to do stuff. So
Dude, I feel that. Was there any time in your life that you were like, all right, I'm gonna be the filmer now instead of like being in front of the camera so much?
I don't know if I think it was always just the responsibility like fell on me. So, and then a lot of the times I've been hurt and shit. So, but okay, so I guess when we filmed the first video we made, it's called "Don't Fall for It." That's what it was called. We made it like my last year of high school, and there's a few clips from the year before that too. That one I have like a full part in it, so I was definitely trying to get like filmed a bit more. I feel like then.
Mm-hmm.
But I still was like the role of like the filmer and editor, you know what I mean? And when someone else would have the camera, I would set it up, and like I edited everything and had all the cameras still. But I definitely tried to get clips a little more then. And then the next winter I had like a really fucked up ankle. I like fucked my ankle up scootering like in like the end of October.
Mm-hmm.
So then I was kind of fucked like snowboarding all winter too. I like rolled, just like sprained it super bad, like one of the ones that lasts for months, and it's just like never really better. And it was fucked like all winter. So I was pretty low-key snowboarding that winter, so I definitely, got more into filming. And yeah, then the year after my ankle was fucked up, we like started filming for this video, and then it was just like obvious, like I kind of am taking on all the responsibility of filming and keeping all the footage and stuff.
When did you, so when you guys obviously filmed this project over the last 3 years, when did you guys realize like, all right, it's time to drop the video versus just like,
well,
because you could have done it like at the first year, you know what
yeah,
I mean?
yeah, well, if you want me to start it from the, I mean, there are definitely like mixed feelings about it. Some people probably who were in the video probably wish it came out like earlier, you know what I mean? Or, some people are glad, we waited. I don't know. It's definitely like, we definitely could have put something out earlier, but I guess the idea was that I like the idea of making like little montages and stuff, but I thought that doing that with just like a whole group of totally unknown people, like in any way, like no one really knows who many of them are except maybe like a C sessions video or something like that. But it's like, you know, unlikely that in a montage video like that you know who everyone is. You know what I mean? So I was like, oh well, we should try to make a really, you know, pretty well complete feeling full video with everyone having parts before that. But I think it was the first year we'd really, I had 2 cameras all the time, and we were really into filming stuff all the time, and we were always going out. The first year we were filming the video, and I had just like this montage edit. It was like 12 minutes long, and we all thought it was sick. We were all stoked on it. But, I don't know. I think we were just at the skate park one day in the spring, and I was like, yo, you guys want to like keep doing it? Like Sam, Jake, and I was like, you guys just want to like do another winter? And they were like, yeah, sure. Like, why don't we do one more year of filming? And we did the whole other year of filming, and that was like really fun and awesome. And then, you know, we were kind of like, oh, we're going to put it out in the fall. Maybe we'll put it out in the fall. And then the fall came around and it snowed really early. So we saw it pretty sure. And so we started hitting spots real early. And then I was just like, you know, kept on being like, oh, are we going to put it out? Oh, well, this person wants to get this clip. And then it just ended up snowing so much this past winter. And I didn't like have a job at all. So we were just filming every day. Damn. And pretty much like almost every day. And it was like, I don't know, I just never like put all the new clips in, and then came around to it, and we like pretty much finished it and premiered it in the spring. But then I don't know, I just like didn't really want to put it out in the middle of the summer, and everyone kept being like, oh, put it out, and I just kind of like put it off until early September, and then I was like, all right, like I guess we'll finally do it. And like,
interesting.
It's definitely like I was really self-conscious about it, even though it was like 95% done. I didn't want to like half-ass that last 5%. You know what I mean? And there's still stuff when I watch it, I'm like, I could have changed this since I've watched it like, you know, a bit since it's dropped, and I've just like watched the finished thing and be like, all right, well, this is it. Like after all this time, this is like the actual final draft. Like you can't change it now. And there's a few things that I'm like, damn, I should have like, you know, even if it's just like brighten that clip, or like that clip's too loud. Even though I went through everyone and I thought of everything, you know, it's still like you're never going to get every single thing when it's like a 36-minute video. There's going to be like one tiny thing you could have done better. So it's a balance. You don't want to half-ass it, but you also don't want to spend fucking 5 years editing the video, you know what I mean? And just like nitpicking every tiny thing. So
I feel like that has happened to people. People have tried to put out videos, especially something like 3 years long, right? And then they just get lost in editing it.
Yeah, I totally felt lost in editing it for a while, so I had to leave it for like even a month or two and then come back. And like, since it was hard to like edit some of the older footage, and like this past winter especially, I was like really happy with how I was filming stuff, and I was finally like really getting it like how I wanted this past winter, I think. And so like that, and then the second year, a lot of the stuff I think I'm stoked on how I filmed it, but it's not like amazing. In the first year, like some of it I like hate how I filmed it, and some of it I like, but none of it I'm like really stoked on. You know what I mean? Not many of the clips. There's a few, but not many of the clips from the first year I'm like, oh yeah, like that's one of the good ones. You know what I mean? That I filmed well. So it was definitely tough. Like, oh fuck, okay, so you have to have this section is going to be almost all 3-year-old clips that you don't like how you film them, but they're good. It's good snowboarding, and the filming's not terrible, so you have to use it. But it was definitely like you said, getting lost in it a lot.
Yeah, I could see that. I mean, larger projects like that, you know, have that. They just have that feeling. Like, and if you're trying to do something that's like complete and you want it to look 100% perfect, dude, like you're gonna sit there and go through everything and like as deep as you possibly can. And edit it all out. I'm surprised that you guys, especially in the modern world, didn't decide to just release the montage. I totally understand why you didn't do it. It makes sense, and it's a way sicker move to do it that way. But I'm surprised there wasn't pressure from people just being like, yo, you should just put it out. Like, it's kind of fun.
There was pressure from people, but I would just kind of be like, nah, just like trust me. Like, let's just like wait. Like, if we're already taking... I was just like, dude, if we're already taking 2 years, why not like 3? You know what I mean? You don't want it to take 5 years, but 3 is kind of cool. Like even like, you know, big projects, like not that many people film a video for 3 years really. So it's just like fun, like to be able to have all that footage to edit. But yeah, I totally get what you mean. there was definitely a lot of people who were like, dude, like put it out now. Like even the first year people wanted to put it out, and then second year people wanted to put it out, and then of course the third year pretty much like our intention was to just film into like, you know, December, January, and put it out in the middle of the winter after all, because I think it's cool that I get to watch a bunch of snowboard videos in like the middle of the fall, but I don't want my video to come out and with all that, like, you know, because there's like so many things that are like more significant that are gonna come out. You know what I mean? So I'm like, I don't want to be. So I either want it to be, you know, early fall or like midwinter. And so we were like, oh, like let's just do that, and then it'll give me a month or two to do, and we'll do it like before spring, like mid-February or something, like maybe, or if I can edit it sooner, you know. But then just kind of, I'm like pretty procrastinating, and we just kept filming, and then I was like, oh well, it's spring, so we're not gonna get that much more done, you know what I mean? Like, and we could still add clips to people's parts, and I would just be like, yeah, I know it's pretty much done, but look at this and this, like you could get rid of these too, like, and you know, some people would be like, yeah, all right, and then we would just keep filming, and we just film for fun. It's just fun to film, so we just always be out, and I guess it got to a point where it was like, all right, like I guess we're just gonna do the 3-year thing, and it was never really our like intention though, and
to do it.
Yeah, there was definitely like people were like, dude, you gotta put this shit out. What the fuck? Like, come on. But I'm stoked. Like in the end, I think it came out at a good time.
I think it came out really well. It looks like you guys put effort into it, and you didn't just use any old clip that you guys like stacked throughout the season.
Yeah.
You definitely did a good job of composing it and putting it together and stuff, and it's a sick vibe, and it's a really good video and stuff. So
thank you.
Hell yeah, for it to be 3 years. Good call on that. With it being like a more complete project, did you want to do like kind of the whole releasing it and doing premieres or anything, or was it just like I kind of want to put it on the internet? Yeah,
it would be cool to do like more premieres, but it's just like hard to like organize that stuff. Like we did the one premiere at Mount Snow during when Ash and Steel was going on. So a good amount of people were there. Like not that many, but you know, a lot of the local homies, a lot of the Corinthia dudes were there, and a lot of the people in the video were there. So it was super fun.
What was like the crowd's reaction during the premiere and stuff to the video?
Everyone was pretty stoked on it. Like everyone was like pretty like watching. Like, you know, everyone's at a bar like kind of late at night. Like everyone's kind of like drunk, and like, you know, people are talking through it still, but like, you know, a lot of people were really stoked on it. Like it was definitely not like, you know, everyone's just in the bar like whatever.
Yeah.
Like most of the people there were like watching it the whole time. I think the dude who owned the bar we were waiting for someone to get there who's in the video. I can't remember who, but we were waiting for someone to get there. And the guy was like, the manager of the bar was like, dude, like, you know, like 12 people have left here since you guys got here. Like, you got to play the video. Like, you're losing people. And I'm like, dude, like, all the people who want to see it are here. Like, I don't know, the fucking 12 people that left or whatever. Like, whatever. Like, I want to wait for the guy who's in the video. And I think he was pretty, like, surprised that everyone, like, watched the video, like a 35-minute video or whatever it is, like, all the way through. Damn. So that was pretty, like, cool, you know, that a lot of the people there, like, watched it. Because in the beginning, you know, the guy was kind of skeptical. He was like, you know, 30 minutes, like, all right, like, sure, you guys can play it. But, you know, I feel like he thinks people aren't going to, like, pay attention. So it was cool that a lot of the people there, like, did, like, watch the whole thing. And there was a part that I fucked up, though, and I just had, like, this B-roll I was using. And I just, like, had it in the timeline. Like, in the beginning of, like, Rory's, like, part. And it was like when he like fucking falls on the picnic tables and like smashes his face on the upside down picnic table really hard. Yeah, like right in the beginning of that, I just like had all this like weird like random B-roll shit, like not like clips, just like kind of like transition stuff, and it was like a minute and a half of just these like random like things in the middle of the fucking premiere, and I was like, oh my god, fuck, and I didn't know, you know, it could have been like 5 minutes. It ended up only being 1 minute, you know what I mean? So it wasn't that bad. And the fall plays twice. You know, and it was just a little sketchy. Like, there was just something that I, like, had there, you know, and I was, you know, obviously planning to take it out. Like, you know, one of those things you, like, leave on a timeline, like, move around or whatever, and I just, like, you know, I didn't move it for the draft that I had on the thing for the premiere, and that's really funny. Yeah.
Damn. Were people bummed about that?
No, I think everyone was, like, kind of just, like, drunk enough to, and they were just kind of, like,
what the fuck?
You know, they just like thought it was like some weird like artsy part, but it was like if it had been, you know, like 20 seconds, it could be some weird transition. But it was like a solid minute or two of just like these like weird kind of like shapes and shit moving around, just like some random shit I would use. You know what I mean? As some B-roll.
That's
it was like 2 minutes of it or something.
Dude, I feel like that could be you though. You have brought me in. Your life is like way crazier, not just like your average skater kid. You're into like minerals and rocks, and like you asked me to look for mushrooms and stuff.
Yeah,
Dude, that's tight. Like, how did you kind of get into that whole side of everything?
yeah. I mean, I think I just like, well, I really got. I always thought. I mean, I never ate meat when I was little,
Mm-hmm.
and I always thought it would be cool to like not eat any animal products, but I always like really like cheese, and so I was like. But then when I was in high school, I think I was eventually just like, oh fuck it, like why won't I just try to like eat like a vegan diet, and I did. Started doing that, and I think like when I started doing that, I was just like started getting really conscious of what I ate,
Mm-hmm.
Not even that it's like a plant-based diet in general, like that's not like the real reason, but it was just like a time when I had began to be like mindful of my diet,
Mm-hmm.
and so it made me like think more about where food comes from and all that stuff, and yeah, I'm into a lot of like things with nature and like nature writers and but I'm definitely not an expert in it. Like Sam actually went to college for farming, and he knows a lot about growing food and like sustainable stuff. So that's really cool. Yeah, works on a farm. So he definitely knows more about it than me. But I'm really into the rocks. Rocks are fucking really cool.
When did you get into like rocks and geology? Or what is
Well,
that?
I guess it's like mineralogy. I don't know much about geology. Geology would be like more like we could walk into my woods and I could tell you like where the big rocks came from or whatever, like why there's like a river somewhere or something, like how shit like that forms. But
Got it.
I'm more into like mineralogy, like cool crystals and like what the chemistry of them is and stuff.
That's tight. When did you get in? Like, how'd you get into that?
I was into it when I was really little, but then I didn't really care much for it for a while, and then I think when I was like 14 or 15, I was at a garage sale and I found some rocks there, and I bought them for like $5 or $10. I bought a bunch of them, and I was just like, oh, these are so cheap and they're all like really cool. And then after that, I was just like hooked again. I was just obsessed with it. Always reading like mineralogy books and stuff, and like always like spending whatever extra money I had on rocks. And right now I have like so many fucking rocks, it's like unreal. Like I have way too many rocks. Like I like go out and collect them, but mainly the ones I like have, I buy them. Just like I buy them at shows and on the internet and stuff, and like I sell them too though, so I'll like buy some and like resell some of them and keep some of them or whatever.
That's tight.
Yeah.
Is that a lucrative business to be selling rocks on the
yeah, I mean, I definitely don't make a crazy amount of money doing it, but there's people who make a lot of money. Like it's like an art dealer. Like you got like a fine art dealer. You got people who are like just selling random art. So it's kind of the same kind of thing. Like I have pretty good rocks, but there's no one who buys the really really expensive ones looking on eBay as much. You know what I mean? Usually they're going to these really esteemed fancy dealers who have huge cases full of the craziest rocks you've seen.
Stuff.
Yeah, and then mine are just kind of like, I have really good ones that are really cool, but it's not like I'm a high-end dealer, so I'm just like selling a couple here and there, on eBay and Instagram and stuff.
What type of rocks are in Vermont?
It's mainly like metamorphic rocks.
What are metamorphic rocks?
So there's like the three kinds, like igneous rocks and sedimentary rocks, and igneous rocks are like when it comes out of it's like just lava. Like lava immediately cools into an igneous rock. So it's like the first kind of form of it. And then sedimentary rocks are when like the sediments, like dirt and different things, settle over a really long time and make the rocks. And that's like, those ones that are kind of layered, and they're usually pretty soft. They can be, they're not always soft. And then metamorphic rocks are when either igneous or sedimentary rocks have gotten reheated and twisted around and made into new stuff. And then, there's a lot of this stuff called schist and gneiss, which are like just those like really gray and black, like swirly rocks you see everywhere in Vermont,
Yeah.
They're kind of like bumpy, and they have like those crazy swirls, and you're like, oh, like you could probably, that like looks really cool, they're like swirling. They look like they're like,
I get, yeah.
like wavy almost. And those are all over Vermont. And then you got like granite and marble. You got a lot of marble and limestone. Actually, one of the area's biggest exports is limestone slurry, and it leaves like the Manchester on trains like every day.
Damn.
And like it's like it's always on those trains, like limestone slurry, and it's like a lot of people don't know that. You know what I mean? They don't know what's on these trains that are constantly leaving Manchester, and you tell a lot of people, you're like, yeah, it's limestone slurry. I'm pretty sure it's Vermont's biggest export. bigger
Shit.
than like dairy or maple syrup is limestone slurry. I think they use it for like really low end like calcium supplements and also like talc powder and like weird random shit. I'm not sure. And maybe like more industrial uses. I don't know, but it's definitely a funny thing.
These fucking trains are leaving with like all this lime scale or like limestone and shit.
Yeah, it's just like a wet paste because limestone's like pretty soft. It's just like that's like weird. I don't know. It's definitely weird.
You're into arts and everything too, right?
Yeah, I'm pretty into art. Yeah.
How'd you get into art? And, like,
Definitely just my teachers at school would be how I got into art. I'd say like as far as painting and visual art, I'm mainly into like surrealist stuff.
okay.
You know, like Dali and like there's a lot of other, you know, important surrealists like Marcel Duchamp and like I don't know, Max Ernst. A lot of people like that.
Did you just read a lot of books and stuff about it?
I think I would watch a good bit of movies. I would read some books about it, but I would watch like a lot of movies about it to learn a lot about that stuff. Definitely just reading like random stuff online too. It's pretty dense, you know, to read. Like I'm into art, but I'm definitely not like as obsessed with it as I am like making videos and stuff. You know, like I'm not like, you know, I'll read like sections out of the books. Like I have like big Dali books and stuff, but I don't like I don't think I've read one of them like cover to cover. It's pretty dense. Like I guess you could, you know, maybe I'm just, you know, not super like I couldn't focus on reading a book about one person for that long. I feel like would be kind of tough. I mean, I would do it, but I guess I just haven't taken the discipline to do that. But it's definitely a big interest of mine for sure.
Yeah.
You know, I just get small bits of information about it. I'm by no means like an expert. Like I haven't like, you know, read tons of books on surrealism and stuff. Like I don't know. But there are certain things about it that I know about that I think are cool. And I haven't painted much lately, but I paint a bit, I guess, but I haven't been doing it lately, really.
So, do you do a lot of sculpture then, or?
No, I mean, I did sculptures when I was younger, but I just haven't been doing. I've just been really focused on making videos lately and like doing stuff with rocks too. So I don't make enough time really, I guess, to paint and draw. I'll just randomly doodle, but that's about it.
Well, I feel like videos in its own right is making an art form. You know, like you have to go in and edit it.
Oh yeah, totally. Yeah, of course. That's definitely just like different ways to express yourself, and certain times you get more obsessed with certain ways of expressing yourself than others.
Yeah, that's true.
So I think just the process of making videos, going out to spots, like no matter what I'm doing, like it's just more fun than being at home painting, like or writing. Like I like writing too, and I did that. I've done it a lot in the past, same with like painting and drawing, but sometimes I just like, you know, don't want to do it for a while. And then I'll pick it back up and be really into it and spend my free time doing it. It's definitely good to do, but I get really fixated in like making videos, and I just do this thing where like I just get really like overstressed about editing shit, and I'm just like, you know, I'll be like, oh, I'm gonna edit all day tomorrow, and then I just like spend 1 hour editing and fucking, you know, 10 hours worrying about not editing, you know. So it definitely gets kind of like neurotic at times, and I just like don't even fucking take the time to keep up with painting or whatever.
I feel that. No, I feel like you have some of these projects. Or do you film other stuff while you were? Did you film like other videos while you were filming this like 3 year?
Like snowboard videos?
Yeah, either.
We put out like a few little things. Like we put out the first year we put out one little edit that was like 3 minutes, and then the second year we put out a little edit that was like 3 minutes, and then the trailer for it, which says like it's coming like in the fall of 2018, but it actually came out a year later. But no, like not many. We put out those 2 little montage videos, but we plan to do more, but I just I think I just like was kind of decided like I would rather I don't want to be like, oh man, I wish I hadn't put that clip in the montage, you know what I mean? I wish I still had that one to use. Mm-hmm. So I just didn't. And you know, I don't want to make really shitty videos with just like random clips, so you have to put some good ones in there to make any video. So we just didn't do that many.
Did you ever like go and film at the terrain park or anything like that at the Stratton? Or mostly streets and stuff?
We like did that. I mean, I have done that a little bit, but I just like don't. It's kind of like just like what would I do with the footage? Like I did make some park videos, and I think they're all mainly at Stratton. There's a couple Mount Snow clips, but they're mainly Stratton clips. And I think I'm gonna like re-upload them because they're on like my old YouTube channel now, to like the same YouTube channel that has the full video on it and stuff. So I'll re-upload some of my old videos. But yeah, we did make park videos like 3 or 4 years ago. But then I just kind of was like, yeah, I'm not gonna like spend time doing that, you know. And also I was just working on park crew at Stratton, and I wouldn't take my day. I wouldn't go to a mountain on my days off, and no one wanted to come ride Stratton at all. No one even wanted to come ride, like much less film. Everyone just goes to Mount Snow, so which like understandably so. Like the parks at Stratton aren't very good, but it's still just like that's just like why I didn't do it. I would have done it because I was allowed to film it, like videos and stuff while I was working. No one really cared, so if I had free time, I would have made. So Sam, I had a lot of videos where like Sam's in them and some other people are in them. But yeah, definitely when I was working full time, I would never take time to go, to another mountain on my day off.
Yeah, I feel that.
And yeah, just no one came to. Eventually, everyone stopped coming to Stratton. So
Feel that.
yeah.
What was it like working terrain park crew for Stratton? Was it like pretty sick?
Yeah, it was really sick. Yeah. I liked it a lot. It's pretty laid back. Like it's not like super serious like a lot of other park crews might be like. They have a lot of shit to do. Like obviously it's a lot of work to build a park no matter what, but we didn't have like 8 parks to maintain or like anything crazy like that. So it's like it was pretty chill. A lot of times we like didn't get to put in the stuff we wanted, and we had to like kind of half-ass stuff. So that was lame, but it was definitely really fun, and I got to ride like a lot.
Yeah.
And got to like have some input on the park and learn how to like build stuff, and like I have that skill now. We definitely do some stuff really legit. Some stuff would be sick, or we would do like sick features, but then the way the whole park would be laid out would be shitty because like some asshole like fucking either snowcat operator or there's like the freestyle ski coach would always make us just make these gigantic jumps like in the worst place where it just like kind of like fucked up the whole layout of the park. And there would always just be bad communication about like like they would put everything on these huge pads and like tiers kind of, and it would just be just the way everything would get laid out would be shitty. Even if we would put stuff in really good, it's like in a bad spot. You know what I mean? So it was kind of like you could never really win. Like with the park at Stratton, it was never like perfect. Like I never did a build and I was like, oh, like everything in here is like pretty damn close to how it should be. There's always kind of something that was off, but it was always really fun. Like I enjoyed working there. It was sick.
Good times with the people, but upper management screwed it up.
Huh? Yeah, kinda. Yeah.
Of course. That's how it always works, dude. Yeah. It's crazy that people who have no idea how to like run a park all think that they can, and all the people who know how to run it, they're always like, "Yeah, you don't know what you're doing."
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
Like, bro, what are you talking about?
Yeah, totally.
We're the only people that fucking do this. Like, you don't.
Yeah, and I would always try to make like it just like always got. Like, they would always be like, oh, like, this shit you guys are making is too, like, gnarly or whatever. And we'd be like, no, it's not. Like, I would always be trying to make, like, more, like, low-key, simple stuff. And people would say it's stupid. And it would just be, it was always an uphill battle there. Yeah. But it was always fun. Like, it was always a good time at the end of the day. I really, like, enjoyed it.
That's sick. Yeah. What was, like, one of the features that you wanted to put in?
Dude, I can't. It was more, like, not, like, which features we wanted to put in. We could get, like, a feature in that we wanted. It was more the whole layout of the park would never like be right. Like it would just be like the rails would be in these weird configurations. Like it would just be not the right flow. Like like you have like a rail like on too steep. Like I don't know. You don't think about it when you ride a really good park because you just kind of hit the rail and you cruise over and hit the next rail and it like all flows well. But like the park at Stratton would like for whatever reason like it just wouldn't flow well. And I would try so hard. Like, the rails would be too close together. Like, you have to hit the rail and then, like, fucking stop really quick and then hit the other one to, like, slow down. Like, it's not like you land and you can cruise and hit other stuff. Just the way they were laid out was always kind of weird. Not always. Sometimes we had little good patches, but overall, it would just be weird configurations of where stuff was, and I don't know.
I feel that. I feel like, once again, the mountains fuck up that way. They just think they know what they're doing.
Well, they also wouldn't give us enough time, usually, to build the stuff, and that was another big problem, I think.
That kind of sucks that happened. What was some of your like favorite memories filming for this new video? What were like your best times?
Damn, dude, just like all of it. Like I just remember all of it very fondly. You know, always going out. And I mean, yeah, me getting clips is fun, but definitely some of the clips that everyone has in the video. You know, like there's so many. Like there's too many to name, but there's just certain times you get clips and you really didn't know if the person was gonna get it. You know, and you really like. Everyone like put in a lot of work to like make the spot happen, and you're just hanging out there all day, but you're not, you're having a good time, but in the end everyone there wants like that person to get the clip, and like that person's like getting upset or whatever, or they're having like a hard time doing it, or they're like scared or whatever, and everyone's trying to like be supportive and hang out, and it's just like I don't know, all of it is like was super fun. Like there weren't like terrible days like going out filming for it.
That's pretty sick.
It was definitely like always fun because we try to like, there's some people who you like bring out to a spot once and then they like never come back. They're like, oh, dude, like we've just haven't ridden like anything today, or like, oh man, like this spot sucks. 'Cause a lot of the spots we ride suck. They suck. There's like no sugarcoating. Like it's not a good spot. There's nothing good about it. Like we just make it happen because like it might look cool or just because we want to get a clip or something, Mm-hmm. So sometimes when people just like don't get it, they think they're just gonna pull up to like some nice handrails and ledges and just like, it's not like that. It's like, what is this weird fucking like post to like a drop or something? Like, no, what am I even gonna do on this? And it's like, kind of some people just will be like, not like down to deal with the shittiness of it, I guess, and we kind of just are always like stoked to be out doing it,
Yeah.
and just stoked to be hanging out, and we try to just because if you have that positive mindset towards stuff, everything it's a cliche obviously, but everything will go better if you're like not focusing on like, oh, the snow's shitty out today, or like, oh, all these spots suck. It's like, okay, if the spot sucks enough, then fucking leave. Like, don't stand there and say that it sucks and like be a dick about it.
It doesn't matter. Like, if you're good enough, bro, anything's a spot. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
I guess so.
You can be creative at almost anything.
Yeah, and the other thing is like you don't have to be like super good if you're good at setting up spots and good at like seeing stuff. You don't have to be able to do like really cool tricks to like film. Really good like video. You can just do like simple stuff that's like cool.
Mm-hmm. Dude, I think that's something that's really big nowadays. I feel like a lot
Totally.
of videos have taken kind of that step back where it's no longer about trying to do like switch hard way back 3 onto a rail.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, you can do like kind of mellow stuff, but as long as the spot's cool and no one's done it before, like it's kind of an original approach to something.
Yeah, totally.
It's sick.
And then it stands out more when you do like a trick, like if you did like the switch hard way back 3 or whatever, like on a down rail, if it's in a part where it's all cutty shit and all different kinds of spots, like that's gonna stand out versus if it's like, oh, before that was like a fucking switchback 2, and before that was like a 180 nose press, and before that was like a front board pretzel. It's like all, obviously it's sick to have like all rail clips too. Like it's not bad, but if you're like, the like tricks, I feel like stand out more if there's like a few of them, And if you're just like hitting a lot of like rails that you're just 50-50ing, that's like cool too. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I definitely think when you do hard tricks and you don't do like so many hard tricks, the hard tricks definitely stand out more. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I feel that. I feel like there's so much more to filming a video nowadays, with it being both trick selection and just kind of like creativity and spot selection. Like, you can film a really good video with maybe not like the craziest tricks, but if all the spots look really good and someone like edits really well, like that's pretty sick. And I think that's why Civil Disturbance is cool, because there's a lot of stuff that's like that.
Yeah.
And like, I don't know, who was like in charge of finding the spots and stuff like that? Was it just random, or?
I mean, I guess I find a lot of them, but everyone finds spots. Everyone will be out somewhere. I would say definitely like Sam, Jake, and John like find the most spots, as well as like me. But I mean, I definitely we all have been doing it, like filming and stuff, even before like we started making this video. So we know the area really well, and we know what shit there is. You know what I mean? There's not that much, but there is a lot.
Yeah.
If there's snow, so it's kind of like you're like, oh, what would we hit today? But you're like, oh, there's so many things we could hit, but we've all done so many tricks on them already, or they're just so sketchy, or whatever. So, but yeah, I mean, I definitely find a lot of spots, but Sam, Jake, and John definitely all find a lot of spots as well. There's a lot of stuff that we'll just randomly find, and like there's still stuff that we've like a lot of really good things around here that we haven't done yet, that we still have. And yeah, it's definitely pretty loaded, but snow can be really weird here, and so.
What how far did you go out to like film this video? What cities were you in? Is it all Vermont, or?
So right here we're like in Winhall, right by Stratton, and there's a lot of clips at Stratton. Because Stratton gets way more snow, just like Okemo, whereas like around Ludlow, like that's a higher elevation that gets more snow. And like Dover, where Mount Snow is, and everywhere all in between there, like those areas all get a lot of snow. And then, but the spots aren't as like crusty and like cutty looking, they're more like resort style spots. And of course you get cool natural spots around there, and you also get cool like resort spots. Like that one we went to, like the Gap 2 Electrical Box, like that is a cool spot, but it's not like all rusty and like has cool old buildings around it, like aesthetic. You know what I mean? Like it looks like a resort spot. It is cool. It's a sick spot, but it's not like it doesn't like have that crazy cool like old aesthetic to it.
Yeah.
So a lot of the spots that are older and look super cool are down in the valleys, and so we go to a lot of towns like just all up and down like the Connecticut River, like Brattleboro and like Springfield, Vermont. There's a lot of stuff in Springfield in the video. And all down between like Springfield and Brattleboro, and then pretty much just the whole area, like anywhere in any direction. Then you go like, so, Springfield's here, and like, New Hampshire's over here, and then you go down here, would be down to Brattleboro, and then you go across the very southern edge of the state, like heading west, then you get over to Bennington, and so there's a lot of clips in Bennington, then you can go past Bennington and you get to Albany and Troy, and there's some clips in Albany and Troy. We started going there the last year, because we had this weird assumption. We always thought that there would just never be much snow in Albany and Troy, because if you go down to Manchester and Bennington usually have the same amount of snow, and there's usually like barely any snow in Manchester, and Bennington always has less. And we would always assume that there was just no way, and this was really stupid, but we always just assumed there's no way like Troy and Albany would have more snow than Bennington, just because it's like further south. But that was completely not the case, and we started going there like all the time this winter, and there's so many spots that are really cool, but we always kind of just assumed like, probably because we tried to go there once and there was just no snow, and it was the same amount as there was in Bennington. So but yeah, Albany's really sick, and then Rutland and around Killington, but yeah, pretty much just the whole perimeter. And then like stuff even further west, like in rural New York, there's some stuff, and there's stuff over in New Hampshire. There's a few things in Massachusetts, I think.
How did you guys find all these spots?
We just go around, look for them. We like I said, we just know this area really well just from like living around here. And so a lot of the stuff you find not looking for it, and then other times you find it when you're out looking for them, like, or you have one and you finally go to that place and then you look hard. And I think it's just kind of a skill to like know, and be able to like envision something working, even if it seems unrealistic or seems like a bust. But yeah, I mean, I think cataloging them is kind of good to like, be taking pictures of all the spots. And yeah, I think we just like drive around and look for stuff, and we find some stuff on Street View, but here a lot of the spots we're hitting aren't even visible on Street View. But there's been some stuff we found from Street View or from the satellite, for sure.
I feel that. For sure. Do you use that more like when you're going to Albany and stuff like that? Where it's
yeah, exactly. Like, more of an urban area. But we found like crazy ones. Like there's crazy shit. Like there's clips in the video where it's like a crazy rail that we just found on the side of the road, like on Street View, and we would not have gone there if sometimes in really rural areas, you never know. Like I'll be looking through the middle of fucking nowhere for so long, I just like sit and do it. Like just like somewhere there's no spots. I'm like, all right, well, not for 30 minutes. There's no spots, and then you randomly find something sometimes. So.
Yeah. Dude, and that's all you need is you just need that like random thing, and that could be like your ender spot. Right?
Yeah, exactly, totally.
Sick handrail with like some crazy wall art or something like that. Like just the perfect one.
Yeah, totally.
Boom. It's kind of crazy, to think of all the different stuff that kind of goes into making a snowboard video at this point. Do you think that kind of your influences of art and like minerals and stuff kind of play into the way that you like edit videos? You feel like you're a little bit more artsy than your average person, and like
Maybe. I mean, I definitely have like a lot of influences. I wouldn't say minerals. Minerals are totally like a separate thing.
Yeah.
Like those are pretty like that's like a nerd thing. Like I guess maybe there's certain things about science or whatever, but I definitely think art like plays a big like different kinds of, painters and music and stuff. Well, because I think I don't really gauge it like art based on what you're doing. So I don't think like painting is inherently art. Just like snowboarding is not inherently art or making a video, but like you can make it art. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So, and I don't really like. I think of like art that I like as anything that like makes me feel a way that I like. So it's like about how it feels, I guess, when you make it. So when I think of like things that influence me, it's just things that make me feel a certain way. And I'm like, oh, well, that would be cool if not to convey the same feeling that that artist or person conveyed through what they were doing, but oh, like in the way that that affected me, like it would be cool to affect someone similarly with like what I'm making, like, whatever it is.
Yeah.
So it's just like the way stuff makes you feel and like how it makes you think about stuff. I guess I would say is like more of an influence than like any like, concrete like, concept or like movement or whatever. It's more just like the way things affect your thought process and like the way it makes you feel.
If you like a certain aesthetic of a certain spot or whatever, right?
Yeah, totally.
Because you're like, yo, that made me feel
and I guess like a really concrete one would be also architecture. Like for the video, like the architecture around New England, I'm like super obsessed with. Like especially like the brick walls and like the painted metal stuff around it is like always really cool. It's always like these like green like I-beams going around everything or like whatever with the red bricks. And I like love that. Like whenever a spot has the brick wall or like some old blown out concrete shit or something, just stuff that looks really cool. I don't think there's any specific quality about anything. I think there's, spots that are new can look really cool as well. But there's something I would always rather be hitting a spot that's older, I'd always rather be doing something that's old, like, something that's been around for 50 or 100 years. It's cooler to film a clip on, like, no matter what, it's just so cool. Like,
because the building itself's got history. Not
yeah, totally.
The trick, but
yeah, something actually really funny happened. Sam and I, well, I guess to backtrack, Jake got this clip in his part. He does like a back 50, gap 50. Like it's like a gap, like down, gap, down rail, and there's a big waterfall behind it.
Yeah.
And that's at this like museum, and the museum is like a really old, famous like mill or something. I don't remember exactly what it was, but anyway, Jake got a clip there, and then Sam and I were at this in South Londonderry, like around where Sam lives. There's this like old train station. They have like community events in, and there was this like old movie, or not old movie, but it was a cool, pretty like local film about like communes and stuff in the 60s and 70s, and they said something about the building like in the movie. They're like talking about it, and the guy, it's a museum now, but in the past it was like a factory or something that was really famous for some reason. But the guy came out and he kind of kicked us out, and Jake got it as he was kicking us out. He said like, okay, one more try, and it was getting dark anyway. It was pretty much the last try when Jake got it, and that was really cool. But the guy came out and gave us like this pamphlet that was like, it was like about it. Like it wasn't like a glossy like pamphlet. It was just like a few pieces of paper, like printer paper stapled together, like a packet you'd get in school. Like they probably hand it out to kids when they come on field trips there. And Sam and I were reading it, and it's like cool. And then like, quite a few weeks later, but not that, it was still the same winter. It was still like the same month. It was probably 2 or 3 weeks later. We were at this like, weird little local documentary thing, and they like talk about it for like, it's not just like they mention it. It's like they talk about it for 5 or 10 minutes, I think. It was super funny. So yeah, that's really cool.
Influences, architecture. Dude, it's kind of, honestly, that movie was just, it was just so cool. Because it's so, like, I feel like it's just so Vermont. There's like this distinctive flavor that a lot of videos that from this region like come out and everything. And like, I don't know, it's so different to me. And I feel like one of the biggest things that I've seen is definitely like the wooden rails, dude. Are all the spots here in Vermont just wooden handrails?
I mean, there are metal ones, but yeah, there are a lot of wooden handrails. definitely. Especially when you're going to those like house spots around resorts. And like I said, you know, before about the snowy areas and the more resort style spots, like people want it to have that, like, you know, the people who come here to vacation want it to have that kind of like, you know, like it looks like almost like a European like ski chalet kind of thing, you know.
Yeah.
So a lot of the rails are just wooden, especially when you're riding up around resorts.
Mm-hmm.
So when you go down into like the more, you know, there's still pretty rural areas, but the more urbanized areas, you know, you're gonna have a little bit less of the wooden rails. There's still wooden rails everywhere. You know what I mean? You go to any city, people filming, there are wooden rails.
Yeah.
But I think you see a lot of them in people filming street in Vermont, especially because there aren't like those. The areas aren't as like old. They're like these new kind of ski resort areas, or all the buildings are new and like they're at these condos like riding these wooden rails, and that's usually what you're seeing because they're like.
Yeah.
That's where there's snow, you know, because you're not going to go down into like Rutland or Brattleboro or something like.
Yeah.
It's hard to film there, you know. You're not just going to be able to go there every day, but you can film at Stratton pretty much all winter long. Like you can hit stuff. It's just like a lot of the spots suck. Same with like being up at Killington or Okemo or Dover, anywhere. There's spots all over the place. There's like these wooden rail spots, but a lot of them just kind of suck, you know.
Yeah.
They're not as good. But some of the wooden rails are awesome. Like some of them are fun.
Well,
I like hitting.
We visited.
Yeah, that one's crazy. That one's really sick. That's a good one. That's like an A grade one.
Yeah, exactly.
Relative to the other ones. Yeah.
The only sad part is you can't really board slide through it.
Oh yeah, no, that would be soft. Yeah. That would not go well.
Dude, especially with that little nail sticking up, you just like took by that.
Yeah. Totally.
That fucking, I think that's something to be said about it, you know, for Vermont and everything. Have you ever thought about going out west where it would just be easier to do shit before?
Not really. I just like filming in New England. I like filming here. Like I don't really have any interest. Like same thing with like Minnesota and stuff. I mean, it's really sick there, but it's like I just like the aesthetic of here, and I don't want to be somewhere where everyone's always out hitting spots either. You know, like that's kind of just like like I don't know. I would rather just kind of be pretty much the only ones out filming in our area. You know, like, I mean, yeah, there's not really anyone else who, like, films, like, you know, constantly. You know, there are kids who will go to spots randomly, but, like, in southern Vermont, like, especially now that, like, Joey lives in Burlington, like, we're pretty much the only people who really make videos, like, and try really hard to make, like, street videos in the area that I know of. I mean, there might be a couple other kids who, like, you know, are younger and, like, just starting to do it. But I don't, you know, maybe someone comes here to get a clip every once in a while, but you rarely even see Vermont clips at all in bigger videos, you know?
Yeah, you really don't.
People go to Boston and Connecticut and Rhode Island and stuff, but
I feel like
maybe like Maine and stuff and parts of New Hampshire, but... And I mean, it makes sense because there's not that many spots here, and the spots that are here are kind of blown out, and the other ones are like, I don't know. People, it's kind of weird, though, because I feel like people would be doing it like a little more than they are, definitely. Like there's a lot of spots we find where we're like, holy shit, like how has no one found this before? Like this is crazy, you know? And like we're just like it's surprising no one's ever hit this, and maybe they have. That's the other thing that's weird about it, though, because Vermont has such a like rich snowboarding history. Is you're like, you never know if some random dude like 50-50 this, or not random dude, maybe it was some pro, it was probably some big pro, you know, 50 this in like 98 or something, or like,
that's true.
You know what I mean? You never know, even if it's like in the middle of nowhere and you think no one's ever hit it, like someone could have, and it's like, I don't think I'm as well versed as like in really old videos as I should be, you know what I mean? So it's like, you never know, it could be like even a kind of famous clip.
Yeah, that's true.
You just never knew, like.
I feel like that is kind of the crazy thing is Vermont went from being such a hotbed of like history and stuff, and then it moved all out west, and now it's like kind of I don't know, it's like all cutty, but it's kind of cool to see Vermont clips because they're all like dirty spots, you know, they're not like clean and like in the city or anything. It's always like I don't know, it's weird. It's like, how the fuck did you even find half the spots? Like, even if you lived here, it's still like they're just in the middle of the woods out of nowhere.
Yeah, like I said, I think it's just like, again, the thing about being, you know, knowing where you live and being like pretty connected to the place, you know, like we've really like squeezed it for what it has. Like you can, any road like between here and Bennington and Brattleboro and Rutland, like we've gone down a lot of them. You know what I mean? I can't say that but we've gone down a lot of random roads. Like there's a lot more that don't have spots and do. So we go pretty hard looking for them. You know what I mean? Like we'll spend fucking days and days just going to spots. Like a lot of times what we do is we go and like go to a place and we'll like figure out this like and a lot of the times it's just this weird random little town, you know what I mean? And if you like even told someone the name of the town, they would find all the spots. It's just this weird little like neighborhood or like half of the town or like little spot or area. And we like go to this like new area and you like kind of figure out the spots that are possible to hit. But then like by the time, you know, usually it's like 2 or 3 or 4 or something by the time we're actually setting something up. So we'll get like squeeze 1 or 2 clips in the first day, then we come back to that same area the next day and like know what to do, you know?
Yeah.
But it's definitely a lot of time to find the spots out here for sure. But it's also sick, and now that we're like, we know it so well, now it just kind of is like easy because there's like so much. And now that we're done with this video too, we can like go back to a lot of the same spots and film new tricks, and it's not like you're one-upping someone for like the same video. And like, that's one thing is I hate watching like snowboard videos. Like a lot of the times people just want, like with the parts, like they want to stretch each person's part and have each person's part be legit, so they repeat spots a lot.
Yeah.
And obviously our video, we repeat spots. Like there's no avoiding it. You can't have every spot only appear once. But I try to do it in a tasteful way and like not have them like constantly like this spot in your face. Like, you know what I mean? Like I don't remember what it was, but I watched some video recently where like so many people have the same like similar clips on this like really small rail, and the whole video is really good. But I was kind of like, it's like weird that they have that like with all these fire clips. Why would they even choose to add those in there? You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
But I get, you know,
dude, I don't
different
know.
reasons for different things, I guess.
I don't know if you've seen it, but the Palace video, the newest one where they're in Japan, they all have like bangers on this one like pyramid, and it looks like that's all they hit the entire trip.
Yeah.
It's just like, I don't know if I want to just watch like a spot video.
Yeah, it can be sick sometimes if it's like a famous spot, like, you know, back to Strobeck, he'll do that sometimes. In the middle of a video, there's just like, it's like 5 minutes of them all skating one ledge. Like that can be kind of cool. Like,
but this wasn't even done in a tasteful way. Like, it was done like it was supposed to be broken out, but like wasn't broken out. You know what I mean? And like, I don't know. It wasn't, because I know what you're talking about, like with Strobeck and stuff, but it wasn't really like that.
Yeah.
Unfortunately. Not shitting on Palace, because Palace makes like a great product and everything.
yeah, totally.
It was kind of just weird.
Yeah, you're just kind of like, oh, okay, like, can I see like another spot?
Yeah,
And
exactly.
they just like keep hitting the same one.
But I think that's the difference too with like these modern, you know, constantly whipping out content versus like taking 3 years to film a project.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
totally.
Like, that's sick about what you guys did with that all. How do you guys find, obviously like you're driving around all the time, but do you just like dedicate like a few days to just go drive around looking for spots, or?
I think like, I guess it's different for every, you know, year, because we're always like each year you get better and you know the area better and you know the spots better. But I mean, we find a lot of them in the summer, you know, but I think by like the last 2 or 3 years, like by the time we were filming Civil Disturbance, we already knew a lot of the spots, you know, and it's more just a matter of waiting until there's enough snow and enough people to shovel it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, or until someone's down to do it. And so I guess it's kind of hard to say like, you know, the exact process of it, because now I just remember it by like knowing the spots and, you know, and waiting for there to be enough snow. But we definitely try to take back roads. Like if we're driving like somewhere, we try not to take the highway ever. And we found crazy spots that way for sure. But a lot of it's just stuff we find passively and we've always known about, because a lot of us have lived here like a long time, or like some people have lived here their whole lives. So there's so many things you just remember. You're like, oh shit, like remember that like golf course we used to fucking sled at when we were like 10. Like, oh, there's a fat rail there. Like, oh yeah, you know, like we've never hit that before. Like crazy. And then go and hit it. Like, so just random stuff like that. But a lot of it definitely just comes from like us knowing the area really well, I think.
It's just organic as fuck.
Yeah.
Pulling up and seeing random stuff. Is there any places that you would like to go, like going forward, go film in like certain areas?
I mean, like around here, you mean?
Like either around here or even worldwide. Like if
I mean, I've always been really into like the footage from Russia, like from Murmansk. Like they filmed a lot of like the landline stuff there, and a lot of other people filmed there. So yeah, that like a lot of those spots in Russia I've always thought were really sick. But I mean, I'm really into New England. And just I'm the most stoked, honestly, to just go to like more parts of New England that are weird. I mean, I know there's like a million things in Quebec probably that haven't been done, but I still feel like once you're up there, like there's a lot more people actively hitting spots like north of the Canadian border than south of it. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Of course, like, you know, you have people sporadically filming in Boston and stuff. But there's not, like, there's people who live in like Quebec City and Montreal who are always hitting spots and everywhere in between. You know what I mean? And that you can't say that of the East Coast. You know what I mean? Like, if you're talking about rural New England through Maine and New Hampshire and Vermont and northern New York, you've got, you know, crews. Of course, there's crews who film, but it's not like every town like has a chance of people even going there. Like there's areas I know, like there's no way anyone's ever gone there to film around us, you know. So I'm just really just like hope that storms hit new places and get to go to places that we've like, because there's a lot that we found and it's like it never snows here. It's so weird like that with the valleys here. Some of the valleys here, it's like you just look up on the mountain and you know there's like 2 feet of snow up there and you're just standing there and there's like dust, you know. It's crazy. It's so crazy. You're just like, how the fuck is this real?
I feel like that's the problem with the East Coast sometimes. Like, there it's kind of, you know, that love-hate relationship that it's like you see all the snow right above you, but it's not there.
Yeah, but I mean, that just makes it, like, if you always have snow. It's like the same thing when I was, like, living in San Diego. Like, with scootering, I would never, like, even have as much motivation to film because it's nice every fucking day. I would be like, oh, I'll just do it tomorrow. Yeah. You know what I mean? Versus, like, it's here. Like, it's like, oh, it's going to rain. So it's the same thing with snow. It's like, oh, well, since you only have a week with 2 feet of snow in Brattleboro, like, you got to do the wall ride you want to do in Brattleboro, like, you know,
I feel like
this week.
People go way harder and stuff.
Yeah.
You just got to do it.
And then when the snow's shitty down there, we just ride all the resort spots around here and ride rock spots and tree spots in the woods or whatever we can find, you know.
That's sick. Do you guys do any, like, quote-unquote backcountry stuff around here, like ride in the trees and everything?
I mean, we, like, set up spots, but the trees are really close together, so it's really hard to just, like, cruise. And I mean, yeah, we'll do little, like, I would call it more like a hill bomb than a real run, you know, like hike and ride. Like, but we do go pretty far into the woods for some of the spots. Some of the spots we've hiked like a mile into the woods for and shit.
Damn,
so
that's crazy.
There's definitely stuff we've gone pretty far for. Sometimes we just walk into the woods like with no goal or nothing that we know is in there, and we just try to ride it, and that can be really like not fruitful usually, but sometimes you can find something cool. But there's been times where we walk like a mile into the woods and we're just like, what the fuck are we doing? Like, there's nothing, like, set up like a fucking rock drop that like doesn't work or something, you know what I mean? Like, but other times you set up really cool shit, you know.
That's sick. What did you notice anything change after you dropped Civil Disturbance? Like, did people start hitting you up and shit, and like, was it hype? When obviously it was well received and everything, but like, did anything come of it?
I don't know. I'm not sure. Like, a couple like people who I really like look up to told me that they liked it, like as far as snowboard filmers and stuff. So that's really cool, you know. And but I was more just stoked that like everyone in the video is like stoked that it's out now. Like that's the biggest like feeling of like, oh, like, you know, it's so sick that everyone's like, you know, because everyone's just like some people have seen it a lot, some people haven't, you know. You know, different people like come to my house like, you know, frequently or less frequently, so it's like some people like haven't really gotten to see it and they like don't really know what's going on, so it's a good feeling to finally have it on my chest. Yeah, that's
sick. Any last like shout outs or any last words that you got?
Just like everyone, thanks to everyone in the video for like doing it. Like everyone's really awesome. I love all my friends, they're all sick. It was super fun to work on it, and thanks for doing the interview. It was cool.
No problem. Thank you, man.
All right, hell yeah.